real signal?
Hermitian symmetry, sir.
Yeah, very good. So a signal which satisfies any signal which satisfies Hermitian symmetry, it's called a real signal. And all the signals which we see in natural signals, they're all real signals. So if you take a time limited signal, that is the input is time limited signal, in frequency it becomes unlimited, the input only. When you pass through a ideal channel, when I say ideal channel, the response of that h of t is delta of t. So whatever you pass, it will come out to be the same signal. That is like x of t convolved with delta of t is x of t only. So same way, any signal you pass through, whether it's a time limited or in frequency band unlimited, it comes out to be as it is. That means it's the ideal channel. But when you say in practice, any channel is not ideal, that means the magnitude of that is not one for all the frequencies. So when the channel is transfer function is frequency response is one from minus infinity to infinity, we'll call it as ideal channel. But no practically existing channel is ideal. All the channels which we are using, they're all practically non-ideal channels. So the non-ideal means a band limited channel. And it's a band limited channel. So the cause for ISI, the effect is inter-symbol interference. The cause is something need to produce that ISI, right? The cause is basically band limited nature of the channel. So when the channel is band limited, so you can see now you are passing a time limited signal or a band unlimited signal through a band limited channel. So band limited channel means h of f is 0 for f greater than w. H of f is 1 till w. Some say if it's a telephone wire, maybe 8 kilohertz. Okay, if it's optical fiber cable, say 1 gigahertz, or coaxial cable, say 10 megahertz. So till 10 megahertz, the response is good. After 10 megahertz, it will become 0. Slowly, it will go to 0 after 10 megahertz, if greater than 10 megahertz. So all the channels which practically existing, they're all non-ideal channels or or we can say band limited channels. They're all band limited channels. So you're passing a time limited signal or band unlimited signal through a band limited channel. It will become a band limited signal. So we know that in advance that any channel is band limited. So we don't pass band unlimited signal. Simply generating a band unlimited signal means it takes more resources. What we do is we band limit the signal itself. Anyway, channel is band limited. So why to transfer band unlimited signal through a band limited channel? So we become clever and we make this S of f band limited signal. Anyway, channel is also band limited. So obviously the output is band limited signal. So because of this band limited nature of the channel, the effect of inter-symbol interference will be there. So now S of f, S naught of f is given by the relation with the multiplication in frequency domain. In time domain, it will be convolution. So you can see now this S naught of f is S of f, H of f, or it can be written as, finally it can be written as rectangular pulse, recta of f by w in time domain into y of f. So if you take this time limited signal and pass it through a band limited channel, it will be producing an inter-symbol interference and distortion. So now we'll see in diagram we'll see what is the inter-symbol interference. So now just give me a moment. Okay, so now we'll take three cases. Three cases in the sense that first is ideal channel where f is less than w, and c of f is c of f magnitude e power j theta f, and the second one is non-ideal channel where effect of ISI is there, and we'll see how to compensate the effect of ISI, and we can just formulate what is the effect of ISI in mathematical terms. We know that now there is a ISI issue is there because of the band limited nature of the channel, but we need to find out how to formulate this issue. So we'll take IN information sequence and we'll map it to some modulation scheme, BPSK, QPSK, or MPSK, whatever it is. So I is the information bearing sequence, and we write the transmitted sequence in discrete time sequence. V of t is a transmitted sequence which can be written as 0 to infinity in g of t minus nt. In is plus or minus ones, plus 1 minus 1 plus 1 minus 1, something like that. But remember, we can't transmit that plus 1 minus 1 through the channel. We have to multiply it by a pulse shaping function. So this g of t minus nt is a pulse shaping function. Remember, we need to control this only, because at the transmitter side we have a control over pulse shaping function. At the receiver also we can have a control over a pulse shaping function, so that the output of the match filter will have maximum SNR, and effect of IS also will be less. So V of t is equal to 0 to infinity in g of t minus nt. G of t minus nt is a pulse shaping function. In is a sequence. Now g of t is also band limited in the sense that whatever pulse shaping function we are setting is also band limited. And now V of t is sent through the channel C of t. Now we can see that in is multiplied with g, and it is passed through the channel. At the receiver side, the AWJ noise is getting added. I think please be aware that AWJ noise is getting added at the receiver input. Channel does not add any noise. Channel is like a coaxial cable or optical fiber cable. It does not add any noise at the receiver input, because the electronic devices whatever we are using at the receiver, because of that the internal generated noise is there. That is AWJ noise. But when we write it, in the diagram we'll write it as signal passes through a channel and noise is getting added. But this noise is getting added in practically it is getting added at the internal to the circuitry of the receiver. And also external noise may be there. External noise may be due to the vehicles passing around, and maybe aircrafts, trains, buses, whatever vehicles. Okay, because of that external noise will be there, but that effect may be less. But internal noise effect is considered to be more effective than the external noise. And that noise is getting added, and RL of t is the signal which is presented to the input of the receivers. So RL of t, now we can write it as in is there, h of t minus nt, because g of t and c of t convolution is h of t, impulse response of the entire system. I mean this channel. So in h of t minus nt plus z of t is additive white Gaussian noise, which is getting added to the input of the receiver. At the input of the receiver, this is getting added. So now we have a continuous time statistical signal, because RL of t is no more deterministic, because z of t is already it's a random signal. Obviously, it is a statistical in nature. When it's getting added, RL of t also will become statistical in nature. Now, this RL of t, we would like to present with the match filter, because we have seen that in the detection estimation process, first we need to convert the RL of t, which is the waveform, to a test statistics. How to convert the signal to a test statistics? Clock sampling, averaging, and match filter. So match filter is the best. That's why we use match filter. So we convert a waveform to a test statistics using a match filter, and match filter output is sampled. So we have samples. Using those samples, we are going to estimate by using a optimum receiver, by using maximum likelihood criteria or a posteriori criteria. So you have to link input to the output. So input is what we are transmitting. We would like to estimate that how it is passed through the channel, how AWJ noise is getting added, how ISI is getting added, how to mitigate the effect of ISI, and how to reduce the effect of AWJ either through increasing bandwidth or through increasing power, and how to use a match filter. All these things is a link. So once we understand the link, all the mathematical concepts will become easier. So right now the output of the match filter is written as y of t. Remember, when you are passing RL of t through a match filter, the output signal out of the match filter is, we call it as x, and this additive white Gaussian noise, whatever is there, when it is passed through a match filter is like a low pass filter only, but it is having a response which is conjugate of the incoming signal. So when you pass infinite bandwidth noise, noise through the match filter, it will become a filtered noise. So no more it will be white noise, and it will be additive. It will be Gaussian shape, but it's not a white noise, it's a filtered noise. It may be red, pink, whatever colored noise. So y of t is now written as in. Now it is x of t minus nt plus gamma of t, because it's a filtered noise. What was x? Remember, x is h of t. Remember, we have h of t minus nt here, which is passed through this h conjugate. Now it has become h of t convolved with h conjugate of t minus t. But remember, what is h? H is having g of t into c of t. C of t you can't have a control because it's a channel. G of t can be controlled because g of t is the pulse shaping function which we can select. A C of t we can't select. Once the coaxial cable you selected, it's fixed. You can't change that for a communication. So G of t is under your control. So basically we need to select G of t, which can mitigate the effect of ISI. First we'll formulate the effect of ISI, then we'll mitigate the ISI effect. So now Y of t is sampled because remember the match filter output is still a waveform. It's existing from 0 to 2t. At t it will have a maximum signal. You need to sample the match filter output. What you do is now sample at t is equal to kt plus tau naught. Tau naught may be neglected for convenience. Otherwise, it will be there in practice. But for mathematical convenience, in CS2 we neglect. Otherwise, we can't neglect that. So tau naught is delayed through the channel. T is equal to kt plus tau naught. So y of t kt plus tau naught is equal to yk 0 to infinity in x of. We need to sample this. We sample this. So we, for convenience, we write this kt plus tau naught as k. So yk is equal to 0 to infinity I. This entire thing I can write it as k minus n plus gamma k. Kt plus tau naught is suffix k, gamma k, where k can be 0, 1, 2, like that. Now, I think page numbers are little shuffled. After page 2, page 3 has to come. Page 3 is shuffled here. Yeah. So now yk is this signal. What we do here is in this equation, we'll take we use this equation as say at k is equal to 0. Instead of writing this k is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, we'll put k is equal to 0. We'll take on term. So if we put k is equal to 0, it will become k is equal to n. If we put k is equal to n, this will become ik, and k is equal to n means this will become x naught. So ik x naught plus n is not equal to k to infinity. So we'll separate this, split this summation. Now we can see that x naught can be taken out, ik, that is the first term when n is equal to k. Second term is n is not equal to k. Since I have taken x naught outside the equation, I divide by that so that that effect can be cancelled. Then in xk minus n plus gamma k. Now we can see that. So you can see that this x naught can be neglected because it's a scaling factor only. So we will have only ik 0 to infinity, n is not equal to in xk minus n plus gamma k. Gamma k is a filtered noise, AWGN noise which is filtered out. It's a colored noise. Ik is a desired symbol. So we have a desired symbol plus noise is there. Plus we have something which is undesired. Undesired means it's right now it's a intersymbol interference. N is equal to 0, n is not equal to k to infinity in xk minus 1. So at the kth sampling instant, we not only have the desired signal sample, but also we have all other undesired signal sample. That means previous to it and next to it. If we send say 10 symbols, if I take the samples of the fifth symbol, so ik will become fifth symbol sample. And not only having fifth symbol samples, but also have n is equal to 0 to infinity. That means all other next whatever samples are there, all other symbol samples would have come here. So that's why it's called inter-symbol interference, interference between the symbols. So now this inter-symbol interference effect is undesired. We need to mitigate this effect of inter-symbol interference. So any doubt at this point?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Yeah, any doubt is that you can ask. Otherwise, we'll continue. Okay.
So could you briefly go over the sampling part again? It's just the sampling of the received signal.
Yeah, I'll go to that. So we have a match filter output which needs to be sampled. Yeah, it's here. Y of t we need to sample. So at k is equal to t is equal to kt plus tau naught. Tau naught is delayed introduced through a channel. So we sample at t is equal to kt plus tau naught. So y of kt plus tau naught, which can be written as yk, y suffix k, this entire term. Summation 0 to infinity in x of t is equal to kt plus tau naught minus nt as it is there. This also we need to sample kt plus tau naught. So we will call this as gamma k. This will call it as xk minus n in This entire thing we call it xk. So we would like to separate the summation, stating the desired symbol plus all other undesired symbols. That's why I'll put k is equal to n. When you put k is equal to n, this I and ik it will become. Then x naught, and the n is equal to 0 to infinity, but n is not equal to k. Except the desired symbol, all other undesired symbols we would like to put in a separate term. And this additive Gaussian noise as it is there. So when you write it, it will be x naught, I can take it out. This x naught is the scaling factor, it will be 1. So ik plus ik is the desired signal sample. I have all other undesired signal samples plus gamma k. So you can see that, let me open that figure. Let me open the figure, just one minute. So if you go to the figure of, yeah, so let me share the screen. Yeah, so if you look at this figure, is this figure visible to you?
Yes, sir.
A series of sync pulses corresponding to 1 0 1 1 0 1 0. So if I am, this is the sequence what I have transmitted, and at the output of the match filter, we would like to sample one signal, say fourth bit. I would like to sample fourth bit. If you understand this fourth bit, if I have to sample the fourth bit, I'm not only, I mean, right now this is after pulse shaping it is there, but you can see that if I would like to sample fourth one, here this is a solution for ASI actually. You can see that intersymbol interference effect here, but if I have to sample fourth one, all the other contribution have gone to 0. That is the solution. But as I remember, if this solution is not there, then they would have jumbled up. So we have some figure which is explaining the effect of ISI. You can see now this figure. Okay, so I would like to sample the second symbol. I would like to sample here, but the previous signal also would have come, and the next signal, the contribution of the next pulse also would have come. And not only having the desired signal sample, but also the contribution of the previous and next pulses, they would have appeared here. That is the problem of intersymbol interference. So is this clear to you? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now what is the solution? Solution is you can choose, say at k is equal to 0, x of t plus is equal to kt is x of k. Only at the sampling instance signal can be there. All other instance it should go to 0. So that means you need to have a solution. So we understand what is the effect of intersymbol interference in graphical sense as well as mathematical sense. Now we study a criteria which is called as Nyquist criteria for 0 ISI. So to make the ISI 0 only at the sampling instant. Suppose I would like to sample the fifth symbol, then all other contributions at that instant should go to 0. They can be existing at other instance, but at the sampling instant they should go to 0. So this equation x of t is equal to kt is equal to xk, 1 for k is equal to 0, 0 for k is not equal to 0, is Nyquist criteria for 0 ISI. Yeah.
Oh, sir, it should be x of k should be 1 for k is equal to n. No, sir. How come it is k is equal to 0?
No, actually this is x of nt. Now you can see this equation. X of nt for n is equal to 0, it is 1. N is not equal to 0, it is 0. At k is equal to n, the desired signal sample is there. At k is equal to n, the desired signal sample is there. Now
Yes,
this equation is the Nyquist criteria for 0 ISI is x of nt is equal to n is equal to 0, it is 1. For n is not equal to 0, it is 0. That means if I go to this another diagram, only at the sampling instant I am interested. The desired signal should be present at the sampling instant. If I am sampling the so if you come here, if I sample at the third symbol, okay, 101. If you look at 101, the third signal sample, and I'm sampling at the peak. At that peak point, all other contributions should have gone to 0. Only that condition I'm expecting. So this is called 0 ISI criteria, which is called Nyquist criteria. At the sampling instant, only the desired signal is existing. all other contribution of all the signals would have gone to 0 at the sampling instant. This is called zero ISI criteria.
Yes,
Is this
sir.
clear? Okay. Let me come back to the discussion. Okay. So now this is in time domain. In frequency domain, the same thing should be written as x of f plus m by t is equal to t. This is in frequency domain. Let us prove this in frequency domain also. So what we can do is we'll start the proof like this. X of t analog signal can be considered as Fourier inverse transform of x of f e power j 2 pi f t df. It's basically inverse Fourier transform. Let us sample this signal x of t is equal to nt. Same signal I'm going to sample. So x of f e power j 2 pi f nt. It was f here. It was ft here. T is equal to nt. You put it here to df. Now for a sample signal spectrum x of t, it is actually a discrete spectrum. X of f is copied over minus infinity to plus infinity. That means I have a series of symbols like this. At 0, we have one symbol like this. At 1, we have another symbol. 2, 3, 4, like that. We have minus infinity, plus infinity. We'll have so many symbols. Now we'll break up the integral, covering the ranges of finite ranges, say 1 by t intervals. So now it can be written as x of nt. This entire integral could be broken up into a summation of smaller integrals. X of nt is equal to minus plus infinity. Now 2m minus 1 by 2t to 2m plus 1 by 2t. Integral I am breaking into smaller integrals, but I am summing it up from minus infinity to plus infinity. So mathematically I am writing the same equation, e power j 2 pi f nt df. Now for m is equal to 0, I am going to get one pulse. For m is equal to 1, one more pulse will come. For m is equal to 3, one more pulse will come. So for m is equal to 0, f is a function of principal interval f belonging to minus 1 by 2 to plus 1 by 2. This is capital F belonging to this interval for m is equal to 0. For m is equal to 1, it will start from one more pulse, then one more pulse, like that. That means f can be written as f plus or minus m by t, where m is equal to, again, I can write it as 1, 2, like that I can write it. So now x of nt could be written as minus and plus infinity. So m is equal to 0. It will become minus 1 by 2 to plus 1 by 2t. X of, now this will become not small f, this f plus m by t. We are considering only plus m by tt. There will be minus 1 m by t also will be there. For convenience, we are considering this f plus m by t. In place of f, we are writing this for the principal component only. And e power j 2 pi, the small f can be written as, now it is belonging to capital F, that is capital F and t df. Now this could be this entire equation now is x of nt, which is, I can interchange the order of summation and integration. Minus 1 by 2 to plus 1 by 2t, minus n plus infinity x of f plus m by t e power j 2 pi f t df. Now this summation could be written as b of f for simplicity, e power j 2 pi f nt df minus 1 by 2t plus infinity. So right now we are considering only this for m is equal to 0. For principal component we are considering. We can sum it up again from minus infinity to plus infinity. Right now for m is equal to 0, this is considered. X of nt minus 1 by 2 to plus 1 by 2t b of f e power j 2 pi f nt df, where b of f is, remember, this entire summation. It's a periodic function with a period 1 by t, and hence can be expanded as a Fourier series. So when we expand it to a Fourier series, the advantage is we get a coefficients. From that, we would like to construct b of f. So now b of f could be written as bn, which is Fourier series coefficient, e power j 2 pi f nt. Now, how to find out the b of n coefficient is, let us multiply e power minus j 2 pi f nt both the sides, so that this term could be cancelled. So b of f integral minus 1 by 2 to 1 by 2t, again principal component integral b of f e power minus j 2 pi f nt df summation bn. So here e power minus j 2 pi f nt, e power j 2 pi f nt will become 1. So we have, since integral is dt, the integral is dt, so it will become bn by t. The summation won't be there because it's only for principal component we are taking. So bn e minus 1 by 2 to 1 by dt e power j 2 pi f nt minus e power j 2 pi f nt dt. So dt is minus 1 by 2t plus 1 by 2t, it will be 1 by t integral bn will be there. So this, we have this. From this, Bn could be written as t times this left side minus 1 by dt plus 1 by dt b of f e power minus j2 by 20 df. So now, because we would like to compare this equation with this equation, okay. So now we can see that we could write this b of f x of nt. X of nt now, x of nt would have written somewhere, yeah. X of nt would have written it as b of f e power j2 by 20 df. We have one more equation now. Bn is equal to t times b of f j. So if you compare those two, we will write b of n is equal to t times x of minus nt. That is, x of nt is here. If you put minus nt here, then it will be b of f e power minus j2 by 20. As it is, same equation is there. I could write bn is equal to t times x of minus n. Now for Nyquist criteria for 0 ISI, we put the condition back. X of nt is equal to 1 for n is equal to 0, 0 for n is not equal to 0. Now if this could be 0, 0 means it will be 1 into t, it will be t. N is not equal to 0, it will be 0. So bn we got. Now once we get bn, we want b of f. B of f is equal to, this will be t, because bn is t now. Bn is t for 0, n is equal to 0, n is not equal to 0. So b of f is equal to bn is t e power j2 by f n t. But now since bn is valid only for n is equal to 0, it is n is not equal to 0 is not valid. So this entire summation now it is only for n is equal to 0. So b of f will be t only, because only n is equal to 0, bn is there. So this is t at 0, 0 for all other n. So that's why it will be t only. So what is b of f? B of f would have defined here. B of f is equal to x of f plus m by t. So B of f is equal to t. This entire equation is what we stated in frequency domain earlier. In time domain, this is the equation. In frequency domain, this is the equation. So what is the meaning of this equation is, at the desired signal sample, let only the desired signal be there at the desired signal sample. All other contributions of the pulses should go to 0. Then we have a 0 ISI criteria. But this is difficult to achieve, as we have understood. That I think, let me go back to the figure. Let me share this. Okay. So if you look at the figure, let me enlarge this. Yeah. So look at this. If I take the third signal sample, Nyquist 0 ISI, Nyquist criteria says that at the desired signal sample, at the peak of the desired signal sample, remember this is like a perspective density, where we are going to take the sample at the maximum power. So if I assume this is the maximum power of the signal, then at the desired signal sample, only the desired signal is there. All the other contribution of the previous pulses and the next pulses have gone to 0. But to take the exactly at this point, take the sample exactly at this point is very difficult. If you miss this point, you may deviate to this side or this side. If I deviate to the right side, I have other symbols coming up. If I deviate to left side also, there are other symbols coming up. So always this is very difficult to concentrate exactly at the maximum power point. So that is why it is difficult to take the sample there. There'll be other problems. We'll see what are the other problems if we don't take the sample exactly at that point. So let me share this screen. Yeah. Yeah, tell me.
You said summation f plus m by t is periodic, no sir? How is it periodic?
Yeah, so when we take the discrete time Fourier series, yeah, so it's going to see this sample signal. When you sample this signal, okay, so it will become a periodic signal, right? For a sample signal spectrum x of t, x of f is copied over minus infinity to plus infinity. If you take the Fourier transform of this now, it will be like copied spectrum from minus infinity to plus infinity. Like this, all the pulses will be like this is for m is equal to 0. For m is equal to 1, one more will be there. For m is equal to 1 more. Like that will become a periodic. Right now, we consider only principal component. Left side to till minus infinity, like this pulses will be there. Right side to plus infinity, like this, so many pulses will be there.
Oh, okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got it, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So now let us go for the condition of mitigating the effect of ISI. So now we can see that x of f is composed of three components x of f. Remember x of t. You should go back and you should not forget this. When you go back to x of t has got many terms. Yeah, come here. So x of t somewhere. Yeah, we had x of t. X of t is h of t, h conjugate. But h of t is consisting of g of t, c of t. So remember, g of t, c of t is there. So let me come back here. So x of t consisting of g of f, c of f, h of f. H of f is like received filter. C of f is channel. We don't have a control. H of f is a received filter. Okay. And g of f is a transmit shaping filter. Only you can control this. So and also in the analysis we have ignored the effect of AWG noise, but it will be there. I mean, you need to consider in practice. So now there are three cases we need to consider. So the first case is when the symbol rate is exactly equal to the Nyquist rate. Symbol rate is exactly greater than Nyquist rate, exactly equal to Nyquist rate, and less than Nyquist rate. So we have considered C of T to be delta T. That's an ideal channel. That is like an ideal case. And C of F is band limited ideal. When you say band limited ideal, it's like practical channel where when you say band limited ideal, band limited, it's a constant. The magnitude of the channel coefficient is constant for less than W only. Say 10 kilohertz only, it will be constant. And C of F is band limited non-ideal, means it is band limited, but it won't be constant. C of F is equal to constant of F less than equal to W. It won't be constant. Okay, so there are three cases, but the third one is like practical case. We are not dealing with that. We are only dealing with the second case, band limited but ideal. Third case is like if you have to deal with band limited non-ideal case, you have to go for equalizers. Equalizers we are not studying in this course. So now for ideal channel, C of F is 0 for F greater than W. C of F is constant for F less than equal to W. Now there are three cases to consider based on ISI. And first case is symbol rate 1 by T is greater than the Nyquist rate. And there's no possible choice of x of f. When I say x of f, g of f. X of f is combination of g of f, c of f, h of f. But c of f and h of f is not under our control. Only control we can have is on g of f. That means we can't choose x of f to ensure that zero ISI criteria. So there's no possible choice of ISI, choice of pulse shaping function to ensure b of f is equal to t. So in this case, no way we can design a system with no ISI. That means any system, if you have this case, there will be ISI. So it has to be compensated separately. Separately means you have to go for techniques like equalizers and all. So ISI effect will be there. That means symbol rate is greater than Nyquist rate of the channel bandwidth, means you are transmitting at a more rate than the channel bandwidth. Suppose the channel bandwidth is 10 kilohertz. You are transmitting at a 20 kilohertz rate. 20 kilobits per symbol you are transmitting. But channel can transmit only 10 kilobits per second. So in that case, ISI effect always will be there. You're talking at a more faster rate than the channel rate. Channel rate is only 10 kilohertz, but you're transmitting more than 10 kilobits per second, then obviously there will be a problem. So that is the problem of ISI. So you can't design any system with no ISI. ISI always will be there. It has to be compensated separately. Second condition is symbol rate 1 by T is 2W. Let us look at the figures. Let me show the figure of those conditions. Let me come to the figure. I had some figures distinguishing the symbol rate. Let me come to the, maybe it was in the beginning. No. It was, there was a figure where we had all these cases put together. I think it is, I'm not getting that. Okay, anyway, doesn't matter. So we can come back here and yeah. So first condition is that, and second condition is exactly at the bandwidth of channel you are transmitting. you're transmitting at 10 kilobits per second, and bandwidth of the channel is also 10 kilohertz. In that case, as it given the condition of 0 ISI criteria, at the sampling instant, let the signal be there. The desired signal, let it be there at the sampling instant. All other instant, all the signal contributions would have gone to 0. All other signal contribution, only the desired signal is present at the sampling instant. All other contributions would have gone to 0. So this is called as symbol rate is equal to 2W case, and we can have a choice like this. Okay, so x of f is equal to t is t, which is equal to 1 by 2W. You can see that W is equal to 1 by 2t, or t is equal to 1 by 2W, and this pulse is called a sync pulse. Basically, it's a sync pulse in time domain. In frequency domain, it's a rectangular pulse. So now we can avoid ISI in this condition. And when symbol rate is less than 2W, that means you're tying at 10 kilobits per second, but channel bandwidth is 20 kilobits. So obviously you have so many ways in which you can mitigate the effect of ISI. There are many choices of pulses, but in second case, only one choice was there. That is, you had only one sync pulse, the sync pulse choice. Pulsing filter is sync pulse, so that you can avoid ISI at the desired signal samples. All other cases, ISI let it be there. Only at the desired signal sample, let the ISI be 0. In the third case, there are many choices of pulses, but again, second case is more important than this. And now you can see that there are variety of solutions with overlap possible in third case. But remember, we have to select a pulse shape based on adjacent main lobe interference and side lobes decay rate and algebraic convenience. Algebraic convenience would have a Fourier transform, and side lobe decay rate should be more